A case was settled this last week in Los Angeles, brought by a young woman whose name was Kelly. Kelly is addicted to social media. She started evidently posting, scrolling, and watching TikTok and Instagram and other social media from the age of 6. By the time she was a teenager, she was totally addicted and began to withdraw from her family and had other emotional issues. And so she now, at the age of 20, has sued Facebook and YouTube. Damages in the case was $6 million. 70% of that will be paid by Meta, 30% by Google. So it looks like things might change in the future regarding how platforms operate. I did not read all the details of the case, but I did try to get a summary of the court findings, because this is for those of us who are vanlifers who are also content creators. If you're an RVer or you're on the road full time living in a van or even a car, and you're a content creator on YouTube, it's something we might want to pay attention to. So I just thought I'd briefly mention it today. This is a response to Rob the Maritimer, who mentioned this on a posted video that I watched this morning. And it stirred up some discussion among fellow content creators. And so for those of us who are vanlifers who also create content, I thought I would just mention it in today's update. So this is a response to Rob the Maritimer and the whole social media court ruling that came down in LA this last week concerning the addictive nature of social media and how Meta and YouTube have been held liable. They have been hit with a $6 million court ruling for damages. And what I wanted to do was just go through I'm going to read through here just sort of the basic findings just to get us up to date. The core verdict came from a Los Angeles jury, and they found Meta and YouTube liable for harming a minor user. Now, this is not a ruling against an entire class. It wasn't a class action. It was just one single person who brought this lawsuit, and it's the first one that's ever caused this kind of problem for social media. They were found liable for harming one particular minor user. The companies were ruled negligent, and they failed to adequately warn users about the risk. And the damages awarded was $6 million. So this is what the court accepted as true. Platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive, especially for young users. Platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive, especially for young users. The key addictive features identified: the infinite scroll, autoplay video, the algorithm-driven recommendations, and the notification reward systems, which was termed as a dopamine loop effect. In other words, the platform itself, the way the algorithm worked itself, was designed in such a way to keep people scrolling and keep people's attention, and especially kids. You can see how it can become addictive. Harm to children. This is the way the court recognized the harm to children. The court accepted evidence linking platform use to depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia, social withdrawal, and compulsive behavior. Internal knowledge. Evidence showed companies were aware of addictive effects and mental health risks. Despite this, they engaged in the algorithm. They prioritized engagement and the gathering of attention of the viewer, and they focused on ad revenue. The legal significance. It's the first successful jury verdict of its kind. It weakens the traditional big tech protections by focusing not on content, but product design, the way the content is delivered. Now, the ruling was only case specific. It was only about this one particular user. But if Meta and YouTube lose the appeal and this court ruling stands, then it could open up, of course, the floodgates for thousands of other case action. As a van lifer, as a content creator, as an RVer, or someone who's living on the road full time and you're a content creator, this is the bottom line. They didn't say that social media was illegal. It concluded that the platforms were designed in ways that can addict kids. Companies knew about the risk but failed to protect or warn users. What's this going to do for YouTube and for other social media platforms in the future? Here are some possible effects. There could be an algorithm shift. Could put a lot less emphasis on watched time alone and more emphasis on healthy engagement. Could be stricter monetization rules. Ads on youth-oriented content may face tighter limits. And again, for us van lifers and RVers, we're not really geared toward kids anyway, so this is not going to affect us, I don't think, directly in terms of the monetization or anything that comes at it. It's more going to be on the it's more the way it's going to affect us as van lifers and RVers and content creators is how we package and deliver our content. And it suggests here that the model is going to shift maybe from the maximizing of watch time to the sustained viewer without harm. How can I keep a viewer and the viewer's attention to my channel, and how can I get them involved in my channel but do it without harm? Do it without using any sort of trickery or any sort of addictive mechanisms in order to get them addicted to my channel. What can we do to sustain viewership but do it harmlessly? And so that means that content that teaches something specific, something that teaches, content that solves a specific problem, or content that stands on its own, in other words, is unique and is authentic, those things will be more likely less harmful and less open to any sort of problems in the future if there's any sort of future restrictions or regulations on YouTube. So for us van lifers and RVers who are content creators, I don't think we need to be worried about that much because we're not geared toward kids. Kids don't watch our content. But we do need to be aware of what shifts may happen on YouTube in terms of monetization and the way the algorithm works, as well as on Instagram, because many of us also post on other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. These things may change over time, and we need to be up to date and know exactly what their changes are, the changes are being made. But the bottom line here is if we can just do those three things in terms of our content, try to teach something specific, try to solve a specific problem. Someone has a problem, let's try to solve it, and let's be authentic. Let's be unique. We want our videos to stand on our own. Now, we RVers and van lifers and those of us who travel on the road and create content are built for this. There's all kinds of things that we can teach each other. I learn a lot of things online when I watch your videos. If you're a van lifer and you're having a mechanical issue or some problem with your van or your RV, it's a great way to teach the viewer something, and I learn a lot by watching you guys who do that kind of content when you try to teach something. And also solving problems. There's all kinds of problems that we run into when we're living full-time on the road, and we can share that with our viewers. and we can help solve some problems. We can help share our experience so that other van lifers and RVers don't run into the same kinds of issues. We can help do some preventive medicine here for our viewers by saying, don't do this because this happened to me, or here are some suggestions on what we can do to stay safer. And of course, we can be authentic. We can be ourselves. That's the update for today. I wanted to mention that lawsuit because it's on everyone's mind if you're a content creator, and I wanted to mention that to my YouTube and RVer friends who are also content creators, to be aware that things may change in the future as these lawsuits take hold in terms of the addictive nature of these platforms. And I don't think we particularly have to worry about it because most of our audience, most of our viewers are not kids. So we don't really have that issue, but we do want to stay up to date on what's going on with these platforms, and especially in the areas of monetization and restrictions and what we can do and what we can't do. But if we'll just teach something, solve a problem, and be ourselves, and our videos let them stand on their own, then I think we'll be okay. All right, that's it for today. Go out and have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.